Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by Regular Dude. And today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. It's mail call day. As you can see here, we have a largish Priority Mail Regional Rate Box B for domestic and international use U.S. Postal Service box. So let's take a look and see what's in said box. Ta-da. So as with everything on my channel, there's a story behind this. So there's a group build coming up, and it is actually it's already started. I'm just waiting on my kit to get here that I'm actually going to do for it, and it is the Peter Person tribute group build that Matt Hill and I got going. So originally my idea was this. I wanted to build this kit here and put it in Swedish capture markings, because one of these BF 109 G10 Erlas was flown to Sweden during World War II. It was White 14 was the actual aircraft. The guy gave up, parked it. The Swiss put their marking here and blacked out the swastika that's not on this one here. And I guess, tested it and stuff like that. But I liked it. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I like stuff with kind of a interesting backstory to it, and that is pretty interesting. And I like these aircraft. So originally I had bought this kit some years back, and I was going to do that, and I goofed it up, so I was not able to finish it. I won't get into what I did. I mean, I'd done the construction and everything and just jacked it up, and it fought me on different things. So I scratched it. But I always wanted to do it again, and I intended to do that for the group build, but I was having a horrible time finding one of these kits. This is the Revell of Germany kit that came out, I think it might have been 2013. Don't quote me on that for sure. I'd have to look on ScaleMates to see. 2014 is when this is copyrighted on the box. So they used to be easy to find, but apparently because of the stuff going on with Revell distributors in the US after some bankruptcy or some kind of shenanigans, these are really hard to find. I looked at all my normal places and other places as well, and just can't find one of these kits. So I posted on a Facebook group, the Revell fan club, and asked just in general, does anybody know where a person can find one of these? And one person piped up by the name of Henry Osika from Indiana, and he said he had one, and he'd be interested in parting with it. But he also had some extras to go with it, which are inside the box, so I'm going to pull those out in a minute. But he offered me a price for this and the extras that I could not pass up. So Henry, thanks a bunch. I appreciate it. And so I, went ahead and sent him the money, and he had it here within days. I mean, chop, it got here. So let's take a look and see what is inside the box that are extras to go with this kit. Okay, here's all the kit parts, the clear plastic parts, all the plastic, and I'm not going to get into detail on all this stuff. Maybe I will when I actually start the build, but having built it before, I know that it goes together really well, and there really wasn't anything that I could complain about on it as far as the assembly and all that. Then here's the decals. Now, whenever I was doing the other kit, I had ordered a set of decals for White 14 that had everything I needed except for like the Swiss markings, which those I'll be painting on myself, and I'll show photos of the actual aircraft when I get around to it. But I did use the kit stencils, and they worked out really well. They're really nice, and in comparing them to the aftermarket set that I had bought, which was Barracuda, I think, no, Eagle, I don't know, I don't remember, but anyway, the decals I bought, they're super nice decals, but these right here were just as nice. So I used those, and then used the large markings for the aircraft I was doing. And in this case, I won't have to actually order any extra stuff, because my plan is to paint using stencils, paint the generic markings like the Balkenkreuz, the swastikas. I think I have extras of those, and then the only things that I'm going to have to do specific to that aircraft will be the I think the number 4 White 14, and then the horizontal marking in front of that, but I'll get into that later. But anyway, this is, those are all the kit supplied parts and instructions and decals. Now, as for the extras, there are some Barracuda parts which I had got for the last one that I did. I didn't get all of these, but I did have some of them. So, for example, we have the Barracuda cast, BF 109 G10 and K4 oil cooler fairing, which in comparison to the kit parts, and I'm going to do some comparisons on these parts later in another video when I actually start building this, but this is a little more bowed out, I think, in relation to the one that comes in the kit, which is straighter, and this is supposed to be more accurate. So we've got that. Then we've got the exhaust and the intake, which I used on, I actually did get for the other kit, mainly because the, I'm not going to open this right now, but the detail, it's hollowed out in the end of the exhaust tips. That's hollowed out, and it also has like the little, I guess it's a weld seam, but there's a seam that goes right along the top edge of all these, the outside edge. Plus, it's also got these little intakes that go around the cowling and stuff like that. And then the actual intake here for the supercharger, I guess it is. Now, these are all really nice parts, and they are parts that I used on the other one, so these are really nice. Then we have the propeller kit and spinner, which are also extremely nice. One of the drawbacks, one of the complaints about the Revell kit is the fact that this comes in 2 parts. This is one whole part here, and then there's a bottom plate here which glues on, and it's made in such a way that if you fill the seam and sand it down, you can mess up some of this nice rivet detail that you can't really see through the plastic. But yeah, it does kind of mess it up. So this is a nice part as well, and the propeller blades are a lot nicer than the kit versions. Then we got the main wheels, which are the smooth with just a rib going across. So those are pretty nice there, as well as, what else we got in there? Something else in there. Looks like it might be decals for the wheels. I don't know. But we'll take a look at that whenever I actually get to building it. And then one of the things that I did not expect, but he said he had it, and it's super hard to find now, is this AMUR Reaver BF 109 G10 Erla correction set for the cowling. Now, apparently the cowling on this on the model is pretty narrow, and it should be a little more bulged out because of the different motor or whatever. And he has this, or he had this, and this was part of the deal as well. And I watched or I checked out this hasn't even been opened yet. This is awesome. It's totally sealed. So I'm not going to open this right now, but I'll just let you look like right through here. The detail on it is really super nice, very cleanly molded. The panel lines are really fine and good looking. This strip hinge, piano hinge, whatever you want to call it, down the center of the cowling is really nice. But one of the things it corrects is not only the shape of the nose, but it also corrects, you can see hopefully, panel, or not a panel line, but a seam line that runs right there for the cowling, for the cover, the gun cover. And there is a seam that runs real close to that along the edge of the Revell kit. And again, these are things I'll talk about when I'm actually building the kit. But it's in an awkward place that if you sand that seam down, you can mess up some of the details. So this kind of corrects that as well. And then it has the cannon, the breech cover here, which is like right in front of the windscreen, and then some other parts as well, including another intake. So I'll be taking a look at all this stuff in more detail when I actually start the build. But that is a really nice part, and it's really super hard to find. And then last, which was not part of the deal, but he threw it in once he found out what I was wanting to do, is the Barracuda cast upper wings with small wheel bulges. Now the kit comes with the large wheel bulges, and I don't know, let me see if I can show you what they look like. All right, this illustration here kind of shows it, but this whole part right here is a large bulged area. It's kind of domed up. It's a big bulge area. And while it's correct for some versions of the G10, it is not correct for the specific one that I'm doing. It has these smaller bulges here. So I had mentioned that, you know, I wanted to get the small bulge inserts, and he said, hey, I think I might have some, and if I do, I'll just throw them in. I was like, oh wow, cool. All right. And he looked, and sure enough, obviously he had them. So Henry, thanks a bunch, appreciate that. So this will make it that much more accurate as to the actual aircraft that I'm building. So that's it. That's the mail call item I got today. So once again, thanks Henry for offering this up to me, and for selling it for an extremely fair price. Really stoked with the contents of this kit. So I'm going to be starting this, you know, a little bit further down the road. I want to get I've got a couple other projects that I'm still working on, that I'm wrapping up, and then I've got the 2 group builds. So I'm not going to be doing this one for the Peter Person tribute group build. I have another kit on the way for that. This was originally going to be it, but I didn't think I was going to find it, so I went with an alternative, and I'll talk about that on another video. But this one's going to be another project for later. And so once I get done with some other stuff, I'm going to be starting this one, and I'm really looking forward to doing this again, because I know what is kind of coming up as far as the kit goes. I know what to expect as far as the assembly and everything. And I also found a really good thread on Large Scale Plane Forum about this exact aircraft using these resin parts for the cowling. So whenever I actually start on the kit, I'm going to put a link in there after I check with the person who did it, make sure it's okay if I put a link on my video. I'm sure he won't have a problem, because it'll just draw people to his work. But that way you can take a look and see what he did as far as, you know, installing that resin nose piece. So it's kind of cool that, you know, that I have a resource to check out in order to make sure I get this assembled correctly. And he's got some other stuff in there too. There's a few other aftermarket items I think I'm going to want to get for this. I think I want to do a different seat. I found one, I can't remember the brand, but there's a nice resin seat with some molded on seat belts that I think look pretty cool. So I'm going to do that as well. I might get different landing gear legs for it, but I'm not sure yet. Even if I build this gear down, I think I'm going to have it kind of sitting on some kind of a stand, just to make sure that the gear doesn't collapse or anything. I've heard that that's one weak point in this, is the landing gear itself, where it inserts into the wing, into the gear bays, can be kind of weak. But you know, there's landing gear options for that, but we'll see. But anyway, that's it. So Henry, again, thanks a lot for the excellent offer that I was able to partake in. It's a great kit, so stay tuned later, and I will be doing a build video on this. Probably won't be a step-by-step. I'll probably just do kind of a periodic update kind of thing like I've been doing lately. But it should be a really fun kit, really cool subject matter. I'll talk more about the specifics of the aircraft I'm doing whenever I actually get started on it. So, as always, thanks for joining me here on Plastic Models by a Regular Dude in this episode of Mail Call. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, hints, tips, anything like that, put them in the content or the comments section down below, and I will respond to those as quickly as I can. So as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all later.